Are you good at talking on the phone in English? Well, in today's lesson, we are going to practice business English telephone conversations. Let's go. In today's lesson, we are going to study business English telephone phrases. We will practice 15 different phrases that you must know when you are speaking on the telephone in a business situation. First, we will do a sample speaking practice. We will do a telephone conversation. In that dialogue, we will practice all of the useful business English phrases that you must know. After the conversation, after the speaking practice, I will share with you 15 phrases that you must remember. So make sure you watch until the very end of the video because I will list all 15 of those phrases. But before we go over each of the phrases, let's practice some speaking. Let's do speaking practice. In this part of the lesson, I will read black, you read red. So make sure you are reading your part out loud. That way you are practicing your fluency, your speed, and total overall English. So make sure you're speaking out loud. So again, remember, I'll read black and then you will read red. After we finish, we will switch. Okay, let's begin. Good morning. You've reached ABC Inc. How may I help you? May I ask who's calling? Okay, please hold on for a second. I'm afraid Ms. Anderson is not available at the moment. May I take a message? I'm afraid I don't. Certainly. May I have your name and company again? Okay. Could you spell your last name for me? Okay, Mr. Cahill. Does she have your number? I'm sorry. Could you repeat that, please? Okay, so that is John Cahill from Delta Corp. 555-5131. Is that correct? Okay, I'll give her the message right away. You are most welcome. Bye. Okay, so how did you do? Were you able to read along at the same pace as the video? If it was difficult, if it was too fast, you can always pause the video. Pause it, read it, and then unpause it. And if there are any questions about vocabulary or about any of the phrases, please ask me those questions down below in the comments section. And also, if you think this lesson is useful for your English, please subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up and hit the notification bell. All right, so we've done one side of the conversation. Next, let's switch. Okay, I'll be black, you are red. Okay, so let's go. Hello, may I speak to Ms. Anderson, please? Yes, this is John Cahill. Do you know when she'll be available? Okay, I'm calling about our meeting tomorrow. Could you ask her to call me back as soon as she can? Sure, this is John Cahill from Delta Corp. It's Cahill. I believe so, but I'll give it to you again just in case. It's 555-5131. Sure, it's 555-5131. Yes. Thank you very much. Bye. Next, let's go over 15 of the most useful business English telephone phrases. If you can remember these 15 phrases, you will have no problem speaking on the telephone at work. All right, the first phrases. These phrases are for when you are answering a call. When you are answering a call. I will give you two phrases for this category. Number one, you will say, "Good morning. You've reached your company name. Then, how may I help you?" Now, of course, if it's afternoon, you say good afternoon. If it's evening, you say good evening. In the conversation where we practiced, we said, "Good morning. You've reached ABC Inc. How may I help you?" Now, if you want a shorter phrase, then that is number two. Number 2 is good morning, your company name, then how may I help you? So in the conversation, we would say, good morning, ABC Inc. How may I help you? Okay, make sure your intonation rises. This one is much shorter, it's much faster. Next, let's practice a phrase when we want to call someone. So I am calling a business. We are going to practice only one phrase for this. It's a very easy phrase. So number 3, the phrase is, hello, may I speak to, then the person's name. In our conversation, it was, hello, may I speak to Ms. Anderson? Now, if you want to become a little bit more polite, we can add the word please. Hello, may I speak to Ms. Anderson, please? Okay, next, let's practice asking the caller's name. So if somebody calls your business and you want to know their name, let's practice 2 phrases. So we will practice number 4 and 5. So number 4, our phrase today is, may I ask who's calling? May I ask who's calling? Or number 5, may I have your name, please? May I have your name, please? Next, let's practice some phrases when we want to tell the caller that the person is not available. So telling the caller the person is not available. So phrase number 6 is, I'm afraid the person's name is not available at the moment. So it would sound like this. I'm afraid Ms. Anderson is not available at the moment. Number 7. I'm sorry, then the name, is not in the office right now. So it sounds like this. I'm sorry, Ms. Anderson is not in the office right now. And a third phrase, number 8. I'm afraid, then the name, is currently in a meeting. I'm afraid Ms. Anderson is currently in a meeting. Next, let's practice some phrases for taking a message. Number 9. May I take a message? And number 10. Would you like to leave a message? Next, let's practice leaving a message. So I have called a company. I want to speak to someone. That person is not available. So I will leave a message. So that phrase is going to be number 11. Could you ask him or her to call me back? All right, so we could say, could you ask him to call me back? Or could you ask her to call me back? And finally, let's learn some phrases, some questions that we might ask during a telephone conversation. Number 12. Does she know your phone number? Or, of course, does he know your phone number? This question is asking for the phone number. 13. Another way to ask for the phone number is, may I have your phone number? Number 14. Another useful phrase is, could you spell your last name, please? And number 15, a very useful phrase for telephone English, but in conversation, in business, in any situation. Number 15 is very useful. It is, I'm sorry. Could you repeat that, please? Okay, so those are 15 very useful telephone English phrases. Please write them down in a notebook or put them into your computer or your smartphone. These phrases are very useful, so it's very important that you remember them. I used most of these phrases in the conversation. So my advice for you is practice the conversation again. I'll read black, you read red. Try to speak at the same speed as what you see on the screen. So try to build up your speed. Also, you can also build your speed by reading what I say. Try to speak what I am saying and at the same speed. This will definitely help your fluency. It'll help your speaking ability. Okay, so keep practicing this. This is very useful. Please remember all of the phrases. And if you think this lesson was useful, please subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up and hit the notification bell. All right, keep practicing, and until the next lesson, see ya. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today we practiced business telephone English. We learned 15 of the most common business English phrases that we use when we're speaking on the telephone. If you like today's lesson, please subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and hit the notification bell. Until the next lesson, see ya.